Welcome back, all my beautiful Irish people, to County Gains News Media Network. Today we have another, of course, Gript Media reaction, guys. This one is a questioning from Ben Scallon, of course. He's one of the main writers and editors at Gript Media, to Mr. Martin, guys, Micheál Martin. It's called, should the inquiry into the lockdowns involve grilling politicians? So should there be some sort of questioning and people losing their jobs and losing money, because of the bad things that they did? And 100%, guys, okay? And I don't want to talk about that too much here in this channel because you guys obviously probably know already where I stand on that. But for sure, guys, if you do something wrong, you shouldn't get promoted, you shouldn't get more money, you should lose your job and get fired, okay? So there should be some sort of repercussions for the bad things that people do during times of emergency, okay? Well, like I said, County Gains News Media Network, drop a comment down below, go over and donate to my channel if you guys want to help support me, but I don't really care too much about that, guys. Just watch my videos. Let's delve into it today. All my beautiful, beautiful people of Ireland. County Gains Media News Network is for all the beautiful people of Ireland, so let's go.
Taoiseach, the COVID inquiry, which you've been discussing for many years now and which hasn't materialised yet, you've said that you believe it should not be similar to Britain, wherein people are taken in and scrutinised in any kind of an accusatory way. I believe the words you used is you said you were satisfied that everything had been done by decision makers during the COVID process to do the right thing. But isn't the whole point of an inquiry to get to the bottom of whether the right thing was done? I mean, Taoiseach Leo Varadkar.
100%, guys. An inquiry, if you already go into an inquiry with the understanding that no one's going to lose their job or that anyone's going to get scrutinized, then you've already have bias in it, guys. It should be a complete, nonsensical, non-sort of bias-driven inquiry.
Varadkar at the time said that he thought the restrictions were draconian. He said that it was unprecedented and that he was concerned that people had lost sight of civil liberties during the COVID pandemic. If there is a concern by the Taoiseach at the time that this may have had an adverse impact on civil liberties, is it not right that people like yourself and himself and others should be scrutinised in a way that we saw similar to Britain and other places?
I thought your language is very instructive there, taken in, scrutinised. I had visions there when I was listening to you.
What the hell does that mean? What a weird thing to say. Let's go back. Look at the face that this guy's pulling. What the hell?
We saw similar to Britain and other places.
I thought your language is very instructive there, taken in, scrutinised. I had visions there when I was listening to you, in terms of how you might conduct an inquiry. I'm not saying you would, but
I mean, I would conduct an inquiry like that, guys. If something is wrong and done wrong in the country, and lots of people suffered, of course, in some ways it might have helped, guys. Some things it might have helped, but in other ways, let's just say, I won't even go into it, guys, it didn't, okay? Nothing was good done, let's just say.
Quite chilling, actually.
I believe you. I believe you said.
No, I didn't use words.
I believe you said you didn't want to see people being dragged in. That was actually your phrasing. So I was merely mirroring what you had said.
You said taken in. No, you weren't mirroring me. No, you said it, right? And all I want to say.
Well, I mean, people, guys. Here's the thing, guys. If you do something wrong to the people, you should go to jail. You should be scrutinized and put under pressure if you do wrong, okay? I don't know why Micheál Martin seems so against the idea. If you hurt people in a blue-collar way or a white-collar way, whether that be financially, okay, a lot of businesses got closed down, you should go to jail, guys, for sure. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No, hang on. You said taken in, no, you weren't mirroring me, no, you said it, right? And all I want to say is, my view is, I've always said consistently from the beginning, we should evaluate how the country performed, okay? And by that I mean, why? We should evaluate how we performed with a view to informing how we do the next time if there's a pandemic or indeed another, once in a 100-year event or emergency. And this was a 1 in 100-year event. Now we already...
Maybe. I mean, there could be another one in the next 10 years. I'm pretty sure Bill Gates has said that in the next 10 years that there'll be a lot more of these lockdowns, let's just say.
Have had significant work done on the public health side. In terms of inquiring into and assessing how we did on the public health side. I think this was Professor, former head of UCD, I think, led that piece of work. So there'll be different dimensions to this. And I think we need an evidence-based analysis and study of how we did. And yes, people should be questioned and so on.
I can tell you, evidence-based, County Gains, Chris Walsh, County Gains Independent News Research did a little evidence-based research, and we found out, yep, 100%, it was terribly handled. The worst of any country in the world. Pretty sure we had the longest lockdown of all time. It was outrageous.
Go on like that, but I don't think the British model was the best model. I don't think a legal adversarial model is ideal for evaluating how, as a country, we did. And I chair the emergency planning system as Minister for Defence, and this has to be a very programmed, evidence-based approach in terms of how we respond to emergencies. And this was a fundamental public health emergency. And a lot of people lost their lives because of this virus. We had to rapidly develop a vaccination. We had to support and protect the economy. But above all, we had to protect lives and then livelihoods. And the strong consensus is that Ireland did relatively well in terms of excess deaths and so forth. And I know a lot of...
Didn't Sweden have like the same deaths as Ireland or something? They didn't even have a lockdown or something. Or I think Sweden only had like very, very few, like only like maybe like 5,000 people more, you know, which obviously one lost more life is not good, guys, of course. But I'm saying like overall in the grand scheme of things, 5,000 for no lockdown. I mean, the amount of people that were negatively affected by lockdown, suicide, and flipping their businesses ran to the ground, that caused them to flip and be homeless and all that type of stuff. Isn't that just as bad? Or probably would have been more than 5,000 people in Ireland.
A lot of people were sceptical about vaccination and were opposed to vaccination. I wasn't. I believe in vaccination. I think if you look at the history of this country, if you look at what eliminated some of the biggest killer diseases, if you look in 2022 what killed the Irish people, diseases that were subsequently essentially eliminated because of the power of vaccines. And a scientific evidence-based approach stood this country well.
For sure vaccines work, guys, and I wouldn't be anti anything. But at the same time, it's like, did it actually help this one? And some research says it does, you know, to be fair, okay. But on the other side, guys, there were like some, I won't even get into it, guys, can't talk about it over here, but some obviously complications. Okay, but we can't even measure that, guys. I mean, how do people even measure it? It's unbelievable, you know?
But nonetheless, we should and we will, and we discussed it again on Monday night. As far as I'm concerned, I'm impatient with this. I want this to get ahead. I want the inquiry or evaluation, as I would put it. And why am I saying an evaluation? Because in the middle of a crisis, you need decision makers. You don't need people in different arms of government checking behind our back saying...
Shouldn't the government think twice when it comes to people's civil rights,
I just want to make this point. I don't want people in a future crisis. I would give this as my strong advice now as someone who had to lead the country through a crisis. I would not want people checking, saying, oh, how will this look in the subsequent inquiry if I make decision X or decision Y? And that is always a real...
You definitely should have people like that, guys, because that's like the whole thing. Like just knowing the future, this you know, idea, this decision will be scrutinized. Like, of course you want that. What the hell?
Danger in human behaviour. And I just give you my perspective on it. Others might differ. I'm very clear. We need to evaluate, we need to learn lessons if we made mistakes, and we also need to note what went well and what worked well, so that we're better prepared for the next...
But you're saying sorry, but Taoiseach, you're saying that you want there to not be an adversarial relationship, but of course there's going to be people who think, well, of course you would say that because you're the one who is making the decisions. Yeah. And shouldn't the government, when it comes to people's civil rights, think twice and wonder, is this the right thing to do, and not just act in a very autocratic way, which is
100%
is arguably what we saw in some people's view during that whole period. Isn't it right that the government should be thinking twice about suspending people's right to travel, for example?
Yeah, 100%. Or like not opening your business. You know, like a lot of businesses, people don't understand, guys. Business is people's livelihood. People's livelihood is basically their living. Like, if you don't have your money, then you can't live in this world, guys. So people are like, oh, well, you're free to go. Well, it's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter without money. Like, nothing matters without money, guys. Like, what?
And making these wide, sweeping, unprecedented decisions.
Ben, this virus killed people. You remember Bergamo? Yeah, this killed people. This is not.
It's not really an answer to the question, though.
Oh, it most certainly is. Because the fundamental issue is protection of human life. That's the fundamental responsibility and obligation of government in the middle of a crisis, to do the right thing, consulting with people as we did. So I would look. You use the word autocratic. That's a view you have. I would disagree fundamentally with you. And everything we did was within and debated within the Oireachtas, and we worked with the elected representatives of this country.
Well, they worked with somebody during it, anyways, for sure. They were taking advice from someone, or they were taking orders from somebody. You know what I mean?
Through legislation in many respects, in a whole range of responses to the pandemic. So I wouldn't accept the autocracy bit. But I do think we need to evaluate it, certainly. And I've no fear at all of being asked any question in relation to it. I can assure you of that.
I certainly hope not. Alright guys, go over to Grip Media, check them out. Go like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Show them some love. Go donate as well. Like, it is unbelievable, guys. Like, people think that if they just make wrongdoings in the world, serious wrongdoings, okay, that affects people's money or whatever, their freedom, okay, then they're just able to walk scot-free. That just really shouldn't be the case, guys. You know, there should be some sort of repercussions. Let me know what you think. I love you all. I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Stay free.